and they've played the same system for a couple of years, and you see that number of 9 seniors together. Again, they're dealing with a couple of injuries, and you notice the large roster of 29 as Canterman. Let's see if we have a goal kick from Jericho, but one of the challenges facing Jericho this year, among other programs, Jericho did not have enough interest to have a JV girls soccer team this year, which sounds surprising in Nassau County, but that's what's happened. And New Hyde Park is fortunate to have just enough numbers to keep one themselves. And there are some others, Carrie, that we heard about that it's surprising to hear on Long Island that has become somewhat of a trend or not that unusual. They will have one next year based on their 8th graders coming up in terms of projected numbers. But when you think of Jericho, you think of soccer now with what their boys program has done under Coach Donnie Braga. So just to have a dip even for one cycle is odd.
It's really unfortunate, when you look for a program to continue and develop, losing the JV really hurts that program, and it sets it back at least 2 years. And, though there are good numbers next year and they're hoping for a JV, these girls that are in the 9th grade and possibly 10th grade now that are on the Jericho JV are not getting playing time. They're not getting that game experience that is so vital for the sequence to develop and continue as they enter into the varsity.
And you saw that number 5 freshman there, and Lonnie Bresnick is thinking about getting creative and getting those girls opportunities. As here's a pass played away by Pinto, and he's considering even putting together a game practice scrimmage similar to what you do in August before the season against other programs, and just to play kind of the back half of his roster to see who might emerge in a game situation. Here is Pappas as she plays it in and getting a good look at Canterman coming up with the save. So Marina Pappas, who had 10 shots in their last game against Division, didn't have a goal. She's been a bit snake bit. She gets the goal here in the first half, and that might turn her season around.
And that's a nice little finish by Marina on the shot to Canterman. And Canterman did well to hold that one and not give up the rebound and maybe gain back a little bit of the confidence that could be shaken from those 2 earlier goals by New Hyde Park.
New Hyde Park will have the toss in again. But sticking with that topic, Carrie, you have to find a way to be creative when you're managing 29 on your roster. We see that with Garden City coach Mike Heedles. He had, I think, 32 2 years ago. This year, not as many. But to not have a JV to at least find ways to practice against could be tough. Here's Canterman at a great head ball inside. Canterman couldn't get onto it. It was put in. She collides with Marina Pappas, and they are both shaken up.
What an effort by Marina Pappas off the service coming out of the flanks. Canterman coming off her line to try and get that ball out. And then Marina just getting her head on the ball to finish it with a great effort. Nice service. Looked like that might have been on the outside. And there you see the collision between Marina Pappas and Emily Canterman.
The goal is going to stand, but concern right now for the Jericho keeper. So the goal stands for Pappas. Tremendous courage to get her head in there. She now has 2 after coming in with none. We talked about her 0 for 10 shooting against Division. And now Jericho has a problem, Carrie, because Emily Canterman is still feeling the effects of that collision following the head ball with Pappas. And she is getting medical attention, which means Hallie Fishman is now pressed into service. She's a first-year varsity junior that steps into the goal.
A lot of pressure now being put on Fishman only because she hasn't had any chance yet to warm up. And now she goes in cold. She's got to get into the flow of the game. They're down by 3 goals, so they can ill afford to give up another goal, certainly in this first half of play. And if I'm New Hyde Park, I want to challenge her. I want to see if once we get into my offensive third, I would say New Hyde Park should be shooting and challenge Fishman.
The second goal for Marina Pappas comes in the 24th minute. Pappas last year as a freshman, 3 goals and 2 assists. As a freshman, saw a good amount of time off the bench with 1 goal. But this is the dream start for New Hyde Park. As Pappas checks back to the ball, and finishing, Carrie, is such a fickle thing. I look back to the to the comments of Kim Teamsma, you know, we can be a very good team if we finish because of what they have defensively and in their midfield.
And I think the midfield is really very important, and they are very good, too. They move the ball well. They check to the ball. They possess it very nicely. They look for each other. You know, you've got players in the midfield, as you pointed out earlier. 3 out of the 4 are 4-year varsity players, and those 3 players are 3-year starters. So there definitely is a nice chemistry that they have developed over 3 years of playing together. The newcomer is Krems, who, by the way, got the assist on that last goal with a beautiful service from that right flank.
Yep, Caitlin Krems was hurt most of last year with a knee injury, but has come back in great shape. So that's her 2nd assist of the season. And there's a shot from distance, and Fishman, even then, having to cover up with Marina Pappas right in the picture.
Yeah, not handled cleanly, but to her defense, I think she had a little bit of a screen. Her defender in front of her let the ball go through her legs. So I think Fishman just didn't see it cleanly.
Another good interplay. Aronoff weaving through. Aronoff then getting the shot off, challenging Fishman, who again fields it off the bounce, off the short hop.
And again, not real clean. She gave away a little bit of a rebound there. And, you know, we see Aronoff doing well in tight space, moving to her right and getting the shot with her left foot.
Now, New Hyde Park, after that first goal from Tiffany Vellen, have taken off further and continuing with chances. And they've kept pressure off their defense. Julia Aronoff, Carrie, as Kim Teamsma feels is going to be a very well-known commodity on Long Island very shortly. And with her excellent touch on the ball, playing for the East Meadow Soccer Club. And what a duo they have. The two of them just sophomores with underclassmen in the midfield with them.
A great future for the Gladiators with those 2 softs up front.
A restart here for Jericho. As they drive it in, that's Griffin with the head ball. Outside, Chesler approaching for Jericho. Lugo. And Lugo, is it taken away by Chesler, plays it across, and she had Lucy Peters inside for a moment. Jericho still without a shot in this first half. They've had 1 corner kick, but the match has predominantly been played in the midfield or in the New Hyde Park offensive third.
And the ball in the midfield has really been won and dominated by New Hyde Park, and that's why they have really succeeded in getting the ball into the offensive third so well.
Pappas again, good check back, getting it from Krems, and back inside Logan Ward.
Looking to do the little give and go with Vellen.
So Fishman to handle. This one played out. Tossin coming up for the Jayhawks. They come in off of a 1-0 loss at the hands of Wheatley, allowing a late goal, but they shut down a very good player from West Hempstead. That game finished up in a 1-1 tie, so they thought they had been playing some strong defense. Pappas couldn't get onto it. Back to a goal kick for Hallie Fishman. And as they continue to look at Emily Canterman carrying in 2016, any kind of head trauma or blow to the head is everybody's going to be, particularly with training staffs available, are going to play it very cautiously.
Oh, that's everyone's concern, and with good reason too, Ralph. And you see the trainer over on the side working and talking with Emily.
Good ball chipped in. Aronoff will have a chance, and Fishman had to read it well and again able to cover it.
Does a nice job. Haley coming off her line handles that one nicely. Under pressure too. But New Hyde Park was really coming in on her with Aronoff.
Another chance for New Hyde Park. Here is Griffin looking to turn the corner on Nakinet. Mackenzie Griffin, good ball. Aronoff, can she settle it? Could not. Just off the side of her foot as New Hyde Park within inches of another scoring chance as Krems.
Aronoff was in great position there. She just lost the touch. You saw the ball pop up in the air, and that really set off the touch.
And it is Ward from distance giving it a ride.
but it was an excellent opportunity. New Hyde Park is just now really putting the pressure on this defense of Jericho and on the goaltender for Jericho. But they are just controlling, dominating the offensive third, their offensive third of the field.
Jacqueline DeLuca, first-year starter at holding mid, off to a great start, 2 goals and an assist. Ward, again trying to get on the same page with Aronoff, and so many through balls, just inches, and you could see the chemistry that is apparent with these New Hyde Park players. Vellin, cleared up the field by Pinto, good read, Mackenzie Griffin. And Griffin again from distance.
And I like the decision. I like Mackenzie Griffin, who really likes to go to the goal. She takes that one off the body and just, she's thinking shoot. And I think when you have an offensive midfielder like Mackenzie, who thinks and has that mindset, you can be very, very dangerous.
Vellin. And Griffin now on the wide part of the field. Pinto just to get the New Hyde Park defense on their heels for a moment. Corrigan out for Krems. Under 10 minutes left in this opening half. An explosion for New Hyde Park. 2 goals. And the 14th from Vellin on a rebound. Same story by Marina Pappas in the 16th to make it 2-0. Then Pappas again on a tremendous service by Caitlin Krems on a head ball that Pappas was able to finish. And then in a vicious collision with Emily Canterman, is able to maintain at least her footing and stay in this match. The goalie for Jericho, Canterman, having to exit. Rebecca Silverman sends it in looking for Chesler to get onto it. And Samantha Petriello, who's had a long wait there in the first half, enough time to do her homework today.
And study for tomorrow's test as well. Comes off her line nicely to be able to receive that ball that was pushed through by the Jayhawks.
And Milano looking to send out Lucy Peters. So it'll be a toss-in on the defensive end for the Gladiators. New Hyde Park missing 1 game so far. They had a game rescheduled due to the heat index, so should this score hold up, they'll have a chance to continue and follow up that momentum. As I said here, a 2-1-1. They've already matched last year's win total after a 2-10 season, as they invested in a lot of young players, and you're almost surprised, Carrie, when you see them here. Wow, they only had 2 wins last year. And that comes as a surprise, but you could see that they were mostly in the freshman and sophomore classes, and what a difference a year might make. Chesler looking for the connecting run with Milana. And on the follow-up, Jessica Busum. Finally, it is Ward. And Ward, a good idea to locate Krems.
Nice ball with the change of point of attack, getting it wide. And it was nicely played off on the diagonal.
Pappas gets to the ball first before Fishman, who is not in great position. And then the foul on the follow-up pass as Pappas was taken down by Pinto.
And outside of the box. So he'll have the restart with the dead ball outside of the 18. And there you will see Pinto coming into the play, playing very aggressive, taking down Pappas out wide, setting up this dead ball restart in very dangerous territory.
Griffin was good on her last one. This is in a good spot, and Aronoff just missed the header. She soared above the defenders. It was just off target.
Nice ball played again into the box. They are very dangerous on these restarts and these dead balls because they are so effectively in good position for air ball, for the head ball. That's the second or third ball that's been played in that was played off the head.
Aronoff will play that off of a Jericho body for a new Hyde Park corner. Well, 6 goals, and she's starting to become known on the island. Last year, 7-2. As an 8th grader, started 4 goals. And she's coming off of a pair of goals, including the game-tying goal, a 35-yard blast with under a minute left against Wheatley for New Hyde Park, as they rallied from a 4-1 second-half deficit.
That really helps a team's morale as you see the second corner kick of the game.
Griffin overshoots Pappas. And finally, Jericho a chance to breathe. And occasionally in seasons, Carrie, you can have that kind of a match where it's 4-1, where your team takes a lot from it. This might be the kind of half that Jericho has to find out a lot about themselves in about 5.5 minutes with their halftime break.
Well, you'll see the character, and I'm sure Coach Bresnick will do a lot in terms of getting these girls ready to come back in the second half and play for 40 minutes.
Chance for Peters to run. Lucy Peters, the tall 5'9" sophomore forward, didn't have enough support as Mosseri takes it away. And Joanna Mosseri, the starting sweeper, getting in deep. And the good takeaway there defensively for Jericho. Griffin. New Hyde Park on the toss into Jericho. Subbed in Christina Callensrud a few minutes ago. A returning all-county lacrosse player last year as a freshman.
Seton takes these throws, and she has got a very long, very strong throw-in for New Hyde Park, the senior. That was my mistake. That was Corrigan taking that throw-in. But she has got a very long throw-in, and that's very dangerous.
Aronoff. Able to go in and out and continue. Sprays it out wide. Good ball for Mackenzie Griffin.
Guess who you find out on the width?
Griffin had Velen inside, and again, a good idea. Looking for a redirection with Fishman covering.
Nicely done by, again, Mackenzie, who really takes charge out on the width, has served a number of balls across.
Lugo, not a clean touch, but enough for Ali Petricka on the left back to get it out. Jericho coming in with 15 goals scored. No shots as of yet in the first half.
A lot of space out on this near sideline. The marking is very loose on the part of Jericho in the midfield.
Griffin, did she beat Nakinant to it? And the officials will point her way, yes. And Ariel Nakinant has been very busy here as an outside back. And she's someone, as Lonnie Bresnick described, she wants to cover the other team's best player. Against West Hempstead's Lisette Paloma, she was able to really contain her touches.
Oh, okay.
This will be a throw-in for Griffin. Griffin again. And took it too far that time. Nakinant with the hard challenge. For Jericho, they don't sub too often. Lonnie Bresnick's style is to keep the bench pretty tight, but he will for the second time here in the half as senior Lauren Marmon will come on. And Milano had nowhere to go. New Hyde Park continues to pin Jericho in deep. Velen, that time good defense, good position by Jessica Boosum.
What New Hyde Park also is doing very well is that they're getting their front runners, their front players, look to check back to the ball and help out those midfielders when they get the possession.
Peters a chance to finally get some space, but Mosseri takes it away. Tremendous energy. Joanna Mosseri, the sophomore starting sweeper this year and last year. That voice that Kim Teamsma said is the kind that every coach dreams of having.
Well, she possesses a lot of the qualities that you want in a deep center back. She is vocal, she takes control of the defense, and she plays with a lot of intensity for the entire match.
That's Mosseri battling Peters, who gets the shot off, and she raises it off the crossbar, and then it is put in. Well, Lucy Peters finally getting an opportunity. She nearly put it in, and Christina Callensrud with a late goal here in the first half for Jericho might get them going.
Well, that's maybe what Jericho needed just before the final minute of this first half of play. Off the throw-in, Lucy Peters gets a little bit of a deflection, wins the 50-50 ball, and takes a nice shot off the crossbar. And who's in on the goal is Christina Callensrud. The sophomore finishes that one. She's got good height. That brings them back within 2.
What a big goal for Jericho on the first shot that the Jayhawks have had. And finally, Lucy Peters is able to muscle it over to give that chance for Callensrud. Their leading scorer last year in lacrosse for varsity soccer assistant Haley Lucy, who's on Lonnie Bresnick's staff. And she comes on to give him some energy and athleticism. What a big one.
But credit Peters. She did the job. She won the ball in the box area. It was a nice tackle by the defender, but Lucy Peters really fought for it, won it, and that's really what really got that goal for the Jayhawks of Jericho.
A lot of action in this first half. It's 3-1 New Hyde Park. Can Jericho use that and regroup in the second? We're coming back to look at all of our first half highlights and statistics. You're watching Long Island High School girls soccer on Verizon Fios 1 Sports. Over by the Gladiator Grub Shack, New Hyde Park, they're thrilled with what they've done in the first half. 3-1 Gladiators leading Jericho here at the break. Ralph Pignarczyk with Carrie Gluck bringing Long Island High School girls soccer today from Nassau County Class A. As we look at our first half highlights, it could not have started any better for New Hyde Park.
Well, it really all starts right here in the midfield, Ralph, as you see that first opportunity taken by Mackenzie Griffin off the post, and then the rebound followed in by Velen. And another very similar kind of shot, only not handled well by Canterman. A follow-up once more by Pappas. And maybe one of the most beautiful goals that we've seen all year, served out from the outside, and Pappas getting her second goal, knowing that there's going to be some body contact with the goalkeeper, goes up for it fearlessly for a head ball and finishes it and puts it in the back of the net. And Jericho, hopefully for the Jayhawks, get a little bit of momentum before the end of the half. The final minute, Lucy Peters wins a very important ball in the 18, serves it across, hits the crossbar, and it is finished by Christina Callensrud, the sophomore. And that was one of the very few shots that Jericho had in this first half. You can see just being dominated 12-2 with a lot of shots by New Hyde Park on goal. Saves, we haven't had to worry about the saves for Petrillo in the goal. Corner kicks are even, fouls are pretty close, offsides a little aggressive on the part of New Hyde Park, but I wouldn't mind that if I'm a coach. But just clearly, this game is being won and played at the midfield by New Hyde Park.
Gary, let's have a second look at your Verizon Fios 1 Sports keys to the game and how they're holding up.
Well, Jericho, they've got to get balance in scoring. They really have to get a little bit more balance in the offensive zone. The defense hasn't stepped up. The defense has really been exploited by New Hyde Park. We've played 40 minutes. New Hyde Park, they've got another 40 they have to play without those mental lapses, and they've been doing a great job, giving them an A+, possess and attack wide. They've done it all first half.
So Hallie Fishman, who had to come in about midway through the first half due to an injury to starting keeper Emily Canterman, stays in the match. Carrie, we wondered maybe the break for Canterman will give her a chance to potentially come back in, but with anything to do with a head injury in the concussion protocol in high school sports, or for any sports for that matter, they're going to be extra cautious. So I would imagine the starting keeper for Jericho is done for the day. Can the Jayhawks take that momentum from the Christina Callensrud goal in the 40th minute? With about 50 seconds to go, can they build on that in the second?
Well, that's going to be the key. Right now, Coach Bresnik really has to get their confidence up and come away saying, look, girls, we're put one in the back of the net. We're only down by 2. We got to try and see if we can get one back within the first 15 minutes, and then you've got another 25 minutes to get the equalizer. You can't get them both back at once.
Corrigan will send it up the line, and on the subject of Jericho's Coach Lonnie Bresnik, what do you, as he has a quick check on Canterman, what do you think the message was to his team to try to ignite that after what was a very lethargic first half?
I think he's got to get his midfielders more active and more involved, and to not give up that middle of the field, which is so important, that's being dominated by Griffin and Ward. He has got to play much more to feet and much more aggressive at the midfield.
Looks like he's maintained the same shape. They're staying in the 3-5-2. That's been their primary formation, and you and I wonder, would he consider changing that at some point based on the way the game was going in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's every likelihood that he might look to maybe get another player forward and go to a 3-4-3 and see if he can get some offense and exert some pressure on the defense of New Hyde Park.
Well, they're going to generate an early corner kick here in the second minute. Jessica Boosum.
They put Peters really right in front of Petrello.
Boosum cannot pass the first defender. And at the top of the box, Griffin sending it out.